Hey everybody, welcome to our first playoff series preview at the Hockey Writers on YouTube here. I am your host, Jacob Billington, joined by Jordan Orth and Justin Giampietro. Looking forward to talking some hockey. So right now, we're going to be talking about the Penguins and Flyers in the first round. Kind of surprised to be talking to both of you at this point in the season right now. When I looked at the schedule for the year and thought about doing these, I didn't think these teams would be part of the conversation, but more than happy to have you guys here. Jordan, how you doing?
Good. Excited for some playoff hockey to be starting here pretty soon.
Good. And Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. This is a little surreal. It was just kind of sudden. I mean, the Flyers were out for so long, and then they went on a run, and then now they're in. It's been a while since they've been in the playoffs, actually, so it'll be fun to get back in it.
Yeah, and we're getting kind of a new wave. We kind of have polar opposite situations here. I mean, the Penguins, Jordan, they're running off of veterans having superstar seasons, and they've got some good guys filling out the roster. But I mean, Justin, over there in Philadelphia, you've got so many players that are up and coming, and like you got Matvei Michkov, you throw in Porter Martone, who he just extended his point streak to 6. So pretty good vibes heading into the playoffs for both teams. So Jordan, I'll start with you. Just talk to me for a minute about the journey to the playoffs for the Penguins. What did it take to get here?
Honestly, a lot, like you said, you're relying on the veterans, and you look at the guys they brought in, like Justin Brazeau and Anthony Mantha. I can honestly say I wasn't expecting the seasons either of those guys had. Granted, Brazeau kind of slowed down a little bit, but Mantha setting career high in goals, and just the way he was able to stay healthy all season. I mean, that was a deal that worked out for both sides massively, and you didn't know what you're going to get between Shelovs or really what you were even going to have in net. And between him and Skinner, they've played obviously solid enough to get them to the playoffs, but yeah, I think Dubas has worked some magic this year to get them where they are, on top of seasons from Crosby and Malkin. So
yeah, I don't think it's much of it's not a very well kept secret that Crosby and Malkin are having great seasons. We don't need to spend too much time on them, but like you said, there's some surprises in the lineup, and like Anthony Mantha, like you said, having a great year. Igor Chinnikov, bringing him in, looking fantastic. He's pretty near a point per game. Rickard Rakell, another great season. Brian Rust, pretty consistent, but having a really good year again. Tommy Novak's fitting in pretty well. Ben Kendall's been a great story. A lot of good vibes going on with the Penguins. And I mean, Erik Karlsson is not quite prime Karlsson, but looking pretty close. So yeah, got to be feeling pretty good heading into the playoffs. Justin, what about the Flyers? It's been up and down. I know you've been pretty big on the whole Rick Tocchet thing, whether he was the right move or not, and then kind of the situations going on between him and Michkov. Here we are, bury the hatchet in the playoffs. That's all that matters. What are your thoughts on the season?
Yeah, it's been pretty bizarre. It was a tale of, honestly, 3 seasons where they started off pretty well. They found themselves in a playoff spot, and then they completely collapsed for, like a month. And then it's Michkov, ironically, driving the team's success. He has objectively been the best player on the team since like February. Him and Cates on a line have been fantastic. And then you add Porter Martone in there. He's driving the success as well. So early in the year, you had some of your veteran guys, your Konechny's, Sanheims, guys like those driving your success. Now it's kind of the young kids who are really elevating this team. And the Flyers, for the better part of 2 months, have been one of the better teams in the NHL, period. I believe they're top 3 in points percentage since a certain date, going back to February, maybe the Olympic break, around that time. They've been really solid. So that'll be a fun one. And goaltending, of course, has been very good for them. Dan Vladar at 5-on-5. I believe he's one of the best in terms of save percentage and goals against average. So that's a big surprise. A guy who was a career backup comes to Philly and is not just a starter, but Vezina level, at least at 5-on-5. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up. Who is going to step up in the playoffs for them? Is it going to be the young kids, or are the veterans going to kind of, take that step? Because we know that Pittsburgh's vets are going to probably make a big impact.
Yeah, like you said, we know what to expect from the Penguins. Like all those guys know what they're doing. But Philly's got one of the youngest teams in the league. I mean, like they've got a lot of vets in the lower parts of the lineup, but like you, especially on the wings, like you got Konechny is one of the oldest wingers on the team. You got Dvorak and Couturier down the middle, but Ty Forrester, Owen Tippett, like these guys are just they're still young. For a lot of them, it's their first playoff action in at all. So pretty exciting for them. And this might not just be a 1-year thing like we see some teams coming out of a rebuild. They're young enough that they're going to be able to move this forward. So Justin, I'll stick with you. What is going to be the biggest storylines for the Flyers heading into the playoffs? Where are your expectations at? Do they have to win this series? What do you think?
Well, for me, my eyes are on the young guys. It's been Michkov and Martone, as I said recently. They are point-per-game players over the past, for Michkov, like 15 games or 16 games, I believe now, and Martone for his entire career. He's a point per game. So those are the guys I'm looking at. They're only 19 and 21, respectively. They are legitimately, I wouldn't say carrying this team, but they're definitely helping out the offense. Whereas, Konechny has kind of taken us a little bit of a step back recently. I mean, if you can lean on those young guys and be competitive in a playoff series against Pittsburgh, a team that is legitimately good. I think some people may overlook the Penguins. They're definitely legit in my eyes. So to be competitive with them and to beat them in a series, that would say a lot about the younger guys. I don't think they have to win the series, but when you have a goalie like Vladar playing the way he is, there's potential next season for him to, not be as good, and maybe they aren't better than what they are this season. So I think it would be good for Tocchet, good for the team, just good for the organization to win this series, because it gives you a little bit of leeway next season if things maybe don't go as you plan.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're definitely going to have to rely on their youth. I mean, like we talked about these quality veteran players. Dvorak is having a really good season, but again, he's not the kind of guy you want to lean on for a whole playoff run. And Couturier at this point in his career, you can't really rely on him to be a top dog in the playoffs. So, it's going to be really exciting to watch this wave of youth. It's hard to kind of place expectations because none of them have played in the playoffs. So, interesting to see how it goes. What about you, Jordan? Who's going to be the biggest, or what is going to be the biggest storylines heading into the playoffs for the Penguins?
I think it's kind of you're catching a team that's hot. You're going to have to try and slow those younger guys down. You got the veterans that know obviously how to play playoff hockey on the Penguins, but those young guys, they really have nothing to lose. They're out there. Let's go out there and win a game is their mindset, plain and simple. And being able to keep those guys kind of in check. And I think the big thing is going to be the goaltending. Where you get from, whether it's Skinner or Sheloff's, I would have to imagine it's going to be Skinner, and not with obviously the experience he's got, but we kind of know how he's been kind of up and down with the Oilers and then kind of with the Penguins this year too. But I think you look at that, and I mean, you kind of don't know what team you're going to get sometimes night to night with the Penguins. Again, obviously, like we all know, they've got the experience, but some of these younger guys like a Kindle and, I mean, Brazeau, Mantha, some of these guys haven't experienced it in a little while. So I think seeing game one, how they come out, it's going to be a big indicator on kind of how the whole series is going to go in my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, how much of an impact do you think, like Crosby, Malkin, Letang, how much, like, are they going to be able to settle the whole team down? Like, we got these really excited young guys that are ready to play, but do you think the leaders will be able to keep things tame?
Yeah, I think that's kind of it's probably been that way all season, to be honest with you. I mean, you've got those guys in the locker room, like you said, they've been there before. I think that you have someone like Crosby, he's seen it all, been through it all. So yeah, I think being able to have that calming factor between him, like you said, Malkin and even Carlson. I mean, they've got the guys that can help those young kids, and the guys who don't have that experience to just kind of like, okay, let's treat it kind of like another game, but kind of obviously not. But just go out there, play your game. You're there for a reason. We've got here, play like you have all season.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to be the way it is. It's gotten them this far, second in the Metro behind the. I mean, the Hurricanes won the Eastern Conference, so they're second behind them, which is pretty impressive. Even though the Metropolitan, it was a weird race to get in at the end of the season there, but the Penguins have been in a playoff spot pretty well all season, so wasn't too much concern about them falling out. They've got home ice advantage against the Flyers. It's going to be interesting to watch and see how these guys come out. So sticking with you, Justin, or Jordan, sorry. Who are going to be the players to watch? Who are going to be the number one guys to keep an eye on for the Penguins in this series?
I think if Skinner's in net, he's going to be one of the guys to watch again. He's going to have to. He's played solid for the majority of the season. Obviously, each goalie goes through their rough patches, but he's going to be someone that when, let's say, a Michkov or a Martone get in one of those grooves, you're going to have to shut him down, whether it's defensively, goaltending, whatever. And I think, obviously, last line of defense, he's going to have to be probably one of your better players on the ice. And, I mean, you look – Crosby's kind of a no-brainer just because of who he is. But I think you look at someone like Mantha because of what he's done in the regular season. He kind of adds that secondary scoring, too, to help out, take that burden from a Malkin or a Crosby or Letang – or not Letang, sorry, a Rust or Raquel. So I think those are two or three guys that are going to be big name players to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I think depth has always been important to the Penguins. Like you look, Crosby has been extremely dominant. So is Malkin, whatever. But beyond that, like their success as a team came from like the HBK line, Hagelin, Bonino, and Kessel. Those kind of depth guys is really what put them over the hump. You kind of see that with where the Penguins are at now, or the Oilers, sorry. You can't win with just your top guys being studs. You need that specialty line, or you need the guys buzzing that you have. So they've certainly got a lot of that with the guys that you mentioned a few times. So I think for sure it's going to be interesting to watch how the depth kind of fills in the rest of the rock for the Penguins. Who are players to watch on the Flyers? I know we already touched on Michkov and Martone and all that, but like, are those the number one guys to look at?
For me, I mean, here's the thing. This is kind of you're looking at the future here. This is their first playoff run. You envision these guys being here, I don't know, 15 plus years. This is their first taste. So obviously eyes are going to be on them. I'll also say Dan Vladar. It is very important for the Flyers to win at 5-on-5 this series. I think if they lose at 5-on-5, I don't think they're going to win the series. 5-on-5 is very important, and they have been a very good 5-on-5 team recently, as have the Penguins. And Vladar is going to help them there. If he is on his game, they'll win. I mean, he has been excellent, and when he is excellent, they just win games. So Vladar is a big one. Konechny, I'm looking at him to kind of change the narrative a bit. He played a lot of playoff series when he was younger in his career. And he wasn't great. He doesn't have the greatest numbers. So this is a big series for him to show that he is ready to play in the playoffs, that he can be a legitimate game changer when at this point in the season. There have been some times in recent seasons where he hasn't stepped up as much as you'd like him to in the March and April part of the season. So this can change narratives, and it is important for a big leader on this team to kind of step up when the games really, really matter.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the impacts like Couturier and Sanheim have on the roster. Like, those guys have been around here forever, and Konechny as well. You can throw him in there. These guys have been around here forever. Be interesting to see what kind of impact they have on the first round series against the Penguins. And so you mentioned how if they're going to win, it's going to have to be 5-on-5. Looking at the X factors for each team, what's going to have to be the biggest? Is it like, are they going to have improvements on the special teams? The Flyers have had the worst penalty or power play all season. They've been lucky enough to be able to have a lot of people producing, just not very much. You've got quite a few people at 3 power play goals on the season. Trevor Zegras is taken it away with 10. So other than Zegras, nobody's really doing much. Is the power play going to have to step up, or is it going to have to be something else that's the X factor?
I think definitely the power play, you're going to need it to produce. Because, again, the Penguins are probably going to play a pretty tight series. In these other areas, you can't just rely at winning on 5-on-5, because if you lose the special teams battle, well, you're probably going to lose the series. So power play is going to be big. They're going to need to show up. The penalty kill, it's been kind of up and down. You want it to be up for sure. I guess my hope is that they can break even on special teams. If they can do that, they'll give themselves a good chance. If they lose badly at special teams, they get blown out. There have been games where the PK doesn't show up, and all of a sudden they just get blown out, and they don't get blown out that much. So just hoping to break even on power play and PK, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Jordan? What's it going to have to be for the Penguins? I mean, you mentioned Stuart Skinner already. You said he has quite a history in the playoffs. Sometimes it's not a great history. Is he going to be the biggest X factor for the team? Is it going to be the veteran leadership like we talked about? What's it going to be?
I think it's going to be a mix of that, and I think kind of piggybacking off what Justin said, kind of the special teams kind of taking advantage. Say the Flyers are off on a night or two, whether it's power play or penalty kill. I think kind of like what you touched on, the depth. I think that secondary scoring, whether it's that or, being able to grind it out, those third and fourth lines, grinding it out and being able to kind of give those top two lines a bit of a rest. I mean, you got to have a deep team in the playoffs to make a deep run. So I think if those guys can step up like they have all season, I think that bodes pretty well for the Penguins.
Yeah, I think so. And it's so hard because both of these teams have so many things that they're good at and so many things that they struggle with and so many potential black holes for the whole series. So this can kind of build off of the X factors, but what are going to have to be the keys to victory? So we talked about a couple things. Is there anything else you wanted to add about the Penguin side of things, what they're going to need to do to put this series away?
I think being able to just match some physicality that they're going to see. Obviously, this rivalry has quite a bit of history with it. Obviously, some of the guys don't have as much experience with it, but it's going to be probably a series that's going to get physical. It's going to probably get nasty. Seeing how they handle that and kind of the adversity with some of these younger guys, I think that's going to be kind of a big thing for any kind of success in the series.
I think one thing that a lot of people are wishing for is that Claude Giroux was still on the Flyers, because how awesome would that be? Kind of a send-off series for, not that they're both retiring, but a bit of a send-off series. One more matchup between him and Crosby would have been pretty fun to watch. What about you, Justin? What else do the Flyers need to do to make sure that this series goes their way?
I think that there are going to be some guys that get caught up in the moment. It's Flyers, Penguins. You want to play into what that idea is. It's physical. It's nasty. But I think the Flyers should try to play how they have been the past, like I said, 2 months. They've been a very good team. And if you go too far away for that and you kind of, lose yourself in the moment, things could get ugly for them. So I'm hoping that they can play the style of hockey that they have been for the better part of 2 months.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Like you said, 2 months. It's a lot of hockey. You need 16 wins if you want to win the Stanley Cup. So it's not an easy path, especially for a young team. Most of the time when we look at a Cup champion, usually full of vets, lately we've been seeing big players and players in their 30s being the kind of big pieces of the Cup winning teams. Like to see the narrative change, some younger teams making impacts. That'd be great to see, but we'll see what the Flyers can do. So doesn't have to be from the team that you cover or the kind of side that you're on here. But who do you think is going to be the MVP of the series, Justin?
Well, I can't say Crosby because that would be that. No, I can't say that. I will say a Flyer. I will go with Vladar. If he plays the way he has been, he's going to be, the MVP. He has been the MVP for them all year long, so I'll stick with him. I definitely will not say a Penguin.
Jordan, how about you?
I'm going to go a little bit kind of dark horse. I think it's going to be Orchinikov. I think if he plays the way he has since he's been in a Penguins jersey, I think he's going to be a massive impact player in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with him. Again, like Justin said, you go with Crosby or Malk. Any of those guys is kind of an easy one. We'll go a little bit off the cuff with it.
Fair enough. And if I had to pick one, I would say Erik Karlsson. Now, is that because I've watched every Ottawa Senators hockey game for the last 15 years? Maybe. It's just like thinking back to the 2017 playoff run, like the things I would do to be able to watch him do that again. That would just be unbelievable. So I'm hoping that he kind of wows everybody this playoffs. So getting into predictions, Jordan, who do you think is going to win the series, and how many games is it going to take?
I think it'll be probably 6 games. I think the Penguins, just with the kind of the depth and the veteran leadership they've got with the experience and stuff, and I think Skinner is going to try and get the narrative that he can be a playoff goalie. Not like he's been awful in the playoffs when he was with Edmonton, but we kind of know the struggles. I think he's going to try and straighten that out. I mean, especially seeing he's on contract year 2. I think that all combined, I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. I think 6 games. I think Pittsburgh takes it, though.
Fair enough. Justin, what about you?
Again, I like Pittsburgh as a team. I know that's crazy to say as a Philly fan, but I do have to pick the Flyers just out of the spirit of that.
You guys are both homers.
I mean, it is. I think it will be a competitive series. I think you could honestly go either way. I think Pittsburgh should be favored, but I will pick Philly. The young kids, they sent them home, and I'll say Philly in 6.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a series that goes the distance. I'm going to say 7 games, and I honestly have no idea, because it's like I said at the start of this episode, it's 2 polar opposites. It's the fun, exciting youth, and then it's the old veterans who have done this before. Now, each team has a bit of both, of course, but that's kind of the core of each team, and it's really, really hard to pick who I think is going to win. I am going to go with the Penguins just because those guys have been there, done that. This isn't new to them. They're not going to get overwhelmed by the situation. But, again, it would be really fun to see this Flyers team go on a good run. But again, everybody's cheering for Crosby to get another cup. Everybody in the league loves Crosby except for Justin and the Flyers side. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was a great episode, great series preview. I will be chatting with one of you in a couple weeks about the second round, and we'll see how things go. Make sure to leave your comments down below. Let us know who you think is going to win. Kind of go through all of our topics and let us know what you think about each one. Who do you have winning? Who's going to be the series MVP? All that stuff. Make sure to check out Jordan and Justin's writing on the website, and both the Flyers and Penguins on the Substack. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.